So if you've been following this channel for a while now, you know that we're from the United States, we packed up, moved abroad to Spain, and we've been living here for about 10 months. A lot of people ask, why would you leave the US? Well, that's what this video is all about. We left the US 10 months ago, and this video is about 9 reasons why we left the United States and why we're not sure if we're ever coming back. Now, before I get to reason number 1, if you're liking our videos, if you enjoy our channel about local experiences and what it's like living abroad, it really helps if you like the video down below, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel so we can keep making videos about what it's like living abroad as an American, as well as a bunch of local experiences in all the places we travel to. Now on to reason number 1 of why we left the US to move abroad, and that is travel. That is honestly pretty easy to describe. We love traveling. We've always loved traveling. We try to take advantage of the number of vacation days we have in the US when we had lived there and travel as much as possible. Living abroad, while it's not fun and traveling all the time, it does allow you to sort of travel every single day. You learn new things about where you're at, and you're able to see new things, experience new things each and every day, which is one of the things we love about living abroad. It's honestly something that makes it one of the best things we've ever done in our lives, and simply being able to travel each and every day in the new city we live in Madrid, as well as weekend trips, day trips, even longer breaks when we have chances to travel further to other places in Spain or other countries in Europe right now. Travel is just the number 1 reason why we decided to leave the US, because we can really live that travel experience almost every single day while living abroad. The next reason why we left the US to move abroad is that we just simply wanted to try something new. We had lived in the US for a long time. We both had lived in Wisconsin almost all of our lives, grew up there, went to college there, and then worked there afterwards. And we'd been looking at moving abroad for a while due to various reasons. It just didn't work out. And it finally did, so we decided to take the chance to move to Spain. Check out this video right up here if you want to see how you can live and teach English in Spain just like we are. It's a pretty easy way for any native English speakers who meet basic visa requirements and have a college degree. So check that video out and see how you can teach and live abroad in Spain as well. But we really wanted to try something new. Not that we necessarily didn't like our lives in the US. We loved them, we loved our jobs, the schools we worked at there, but we just wanted to try something new. And sort of like I said in point number 1, we're able to try something new almost every single day here in Spain. Sometimes those new things are incredibly challenging and difficult, and that's one of the downsides of living abroad, is just small tasks become more difficult. However, being able to try new things and do new things every single day, just learn while you're living, is something that we really wanted to do, and one thing we do love about living abroad, even though sometimes they can be difficult. And being able to try something new every day is just something we really have loved and enjoy, and it's one of the reasons sort of going back to the US isn't in our immediate plans right now. The third reason why we left the US to move abroad is that we didn't really have anything tying us down in the US. Yeah, we had jobs we loved, our families are there, but we realized we can always go back and find jobs, and our families are always going to be there for us and support us no matter what. But we didn't have a house, we didn't have property, we don't have kids, so those things can always come later in life, and not having them right now made the decision to move abroad at this time a lot easier, because we could simply move abroad, didn't have to worry about selling a house, didn't have to worry about getting kids in school or anything. There are people who move abroad having property in the US, having kids and moving with them. However, that's one thing that just made it a little bit easier for us to make that decision without having any of that. Now, that's something we can always have in the future, and it's going to be a discussion of whether we choose to stay abroad then, move back to the US, but that's down the line in the future, and there are plenty of people, like I said, out there, other bloggers that stay living abroad with families and move all the time. So who knows what's in the future for us, but that was one of the reasons, is simply that we weren't tied down in the US financially or with children of our own. That made it a little bit easier to move abroad now. All right, reason number 4 why we left the US and decided to move abroad is that we really wanted to learn the culture of a new country. So we're in Spain, and we've really tried to dive deep into the Spanish culture and learn as much as we can about the culture. Obviously, when you take a 1-week vacation somewhere, it can be incredibly relaxing, a lot of fun, and you can learn a lot about the culture, but it's a little bit hard to really dive deep and learn the intricacies of that culture. Being able to live in a place and truly slow travel, get to meet people, become friends with people, and learn so much about the culture is something that we've really enjoyed, and that's why we decided to move abroad instead of just taking trips, is that we could really immerse ourselves and learn the culture of the place that we're at. Reason number 5 ties almost exactly into that. It's that we wanted to improve our Spanish language. Luckily, we both spoke Spanish before moving to Spain, and it's really helped us out because if you came with no Spanish, it would be difficult. So even though we spoke Spanish, we definitely don't have a native-like vocabulary. Even after living here 10 months and really improving our Spanish, we still don't have a native-like vocabulary. That just takes a ton of time. However, we are able to express ourselves a lot better in Spanish. We've learned a lot of vocabulary, a lot of expressions and phrases from here that have really expanded on both our Spanish language skills as well as how we learn and understand the culture in Spain and a lot about its history. So living in a country, no matter where it is, no matter what sort of language level you're starting from, is the best way to improve and to learn that language. All right, reason number 6 of why we left the US and decided to move to Spain is that Spain has a much lower cost of living. Now, we moved here through the Auxiliares de Conversación program. It's a English language program where, as I mentioned before, they hire native English speakers from the US as well as other countries to come to Spain to be teaching assistants in the classroom. And we only make 1,000 euros a month doing this program in Madrid. We do teach private classes. There's a video up here if you want to check out what a daily life is like teaching English in Spain. But with that 1,000 euros and teaching a few private classes on the side, we're able to live comfortably here in Spain. Now, it's not a job you can do forever if you're really looking at, for example, saving for retirement or saving in general at all. However, it is enough to get by on. And there aren't many cities in the US where just $1,000 and a little bit extra cash here and there with private lessons can really get you that far. So even though our salaries are higher in the US than they are here, it's a lot more comfortable living here just because the cost of things aren't so crazy high. Now, more recently, with inflation going up, it's been happening here in Spain as well. Prices have gone up, but they're simply not as expensive as they are in the US. They've still gone up about 8%, 9%, so it's taken a bit of a hit, but at the same time, it's just the overall cost of living is a lot lower here. Tied into that as well with cost of living is the quality of life. The quality of life in Spain is amazingly high. It's actually something I believe in the US people think they have a super high, whereas in other countries it's actually a little bit higher. But in the US they like to think they're the best. Every other country just looks at them and wants to be them. That's honestly not the case. And I mean, we've met a ton of people from Spain as well as other countries that kind of think a lot of the things in the US are laughable. Which brings us to our next point, number 7. That's healthcare. They have a public healthcare system in Spain as well as a lot of Europe, and while it can be difficult navigating as people who've moved here and you're trying to learn it for the first time, especially when it's in a different language and you're trying to find a new doctor, it's so nice just not to be able to have to pay $25 on great healthcare in the US to see a doctor and then be saddled with bills after bills after bills for seemingly minor appointments or procedures or operations or anything like that. It's really cheap here, and again, the salaries are lower, as I mentioned, so I know that's what people will say is it's not free. The salaries are lower because it does get taken out of your taxes, and I know high taxes is gonna trigger some people, but at the same time, it's so nice that just anyone can have healthcare, have access to quality healthcare whenever they need it. It's really nice just to be able to have it, to be able to trust the healthcare system and know that if you go to the doctor and need medicine or need an operation, you're not going to go bankrupt, you're not gonna lose your money, you're not gonna lose your house just because of medical fees. So that's something that's really nice, and it's just something, thinking about going back to the US, that I don't know why there's a private system, it doesn't make sense, and if we ever decided to move back to the US, that is something that we would absolutely hate. We love the public system here. It's actually really easy to use now that we've learned it, and it's honestly so nice, and even if you don't use it a lot, it's a lot nicer for the people who do need to use it and basically aren't screwed over by having to use it the way that a lot of people are in the US. So the number 8 reason why we left the United States to move abroad is a lot of the laws in the US just don't fit with our values. I mentioned in the last point, healthcare. A public system is something that we believe in, and personally I don't know if it'll ever happen in the US. It's so nice here just that people have the right to healthcare without bankrupting them. On top of that, the banning abortion law that may or may not be passed, hopefully it won't be passed and abortion will remain legal in the United States. It's just something that doesn't fit with our values, and other countries have laws that fit with our values. Another one being gun laws. In most other countries in the world, guns aren't really a problem. I mean, they exist, but in a much more regulated way. And now when we see, especially after living abroad for 10 months, all the shootings, the mass shootings, the massacres in the US, it's just sickening to see how that exists there, but it doesn't really exist in other places. So I mentioned healthcare, abortion, and gun laws, and those are just three things that they don't really fit with our values, and one of the reasons that makes it honestly hard to think about moving back to the US. Now, before I mention reason number 9, make sure to check out our other videos about what it's like living abroad as an American, as well as local experiences we have while we're traveling. And again, make sure to subscribe as well as give it a thumbs up so we can keep making more videos like this one as well as others. Now, last reason why we left the US and moved abroad and may never come back. We figured, why not? We've talked about moving abroad for a long time. We've thought about it. We love travel. We love all the other things on our list that we've talked about living abroad, as well as if you look in our other videos, other great things about moving abroad, and we figured, why not do it? There's a lot of things people talk about in life that they say, I want to do this, I really want to do it, just as we did with moving abroad, and it still took us 3 years to make it happen. We almost made it other years, but just for whatever reason, different reasons in life, we never came, different excuses. And this time we decided to do it, and we have not been happier. We're so happy we came here. We couldn't be happier with this decision. We didn't want to continue living and then eventually think when we're older, what if we had done it? Regret not coming. And just think, what would it have been like if we just decided to move abroad? Even if it's only for 9 months, even if it's only for 6 months, 3 months. We didn't want to live with that regret or that feeling of what if. So we decided, why not? Let's just do it. If it doesn't work out, we can always move back. And luckily, it's really worked out. We're loving it, which is why we don't know if we're ever moving back. I know some people watching this, that might be difficult for them, but it's one of the things that we're really happy about. And we're so happy we decided to come, but we ultimately decided, why not? Why should we not go? And couldn't come up with a good reason, because like I said, we could always move back to the US and have a similar life to what we had before. So we decided, why not do it now, for all the reasons listed before, and we could not be happier that we decided to take the chance and move abroad. If you're thinking about moving abroad, considering it, shoot us a message, drop it in the comments below. We're happy to help you out, happy to answer any questions you have about ways you can move abroad, maybe where you want to move abroad, and encourage you on your journey to move abroad. Again, it's one of the best things we've ever done in our lives. Not the easiest, but the best, and we're so happy we're here. And if you are interested in moving abroad, make sure to check out our other videos about traveling around and what it's been like living abroad as an American. We'll see you over at our other videos. Bye.